Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another tabletop review. In this video, we're going to be talking about the supplements I've used over the years with varying degrees of success. What has worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, and hopefully I can save you some money along the way for you making your goals, whether it's gaining muscle or losing fat. Now, the best supplement regimen is only second best to a proper nutrition regimen. So if you haven't already seen it, I highly recommend you watch my previous video on meal preparation and macronutrients. And also a little bit of a medical disclaimer, if you have any questions that go beyond the confines of a YouTube video, please consult your physician because the information in this video is exactly that, informational only, what I use, and I expect you to treat it as such. So without further ado, let's get into it. Supplements! Whey protein. It's mainstream knowledge now that protein is necessary for muscle growth. Nobody is going to argue that science. However, whey protein still qualifies as a processed food source, and the bulk of your protein should come from unprocessed sources such as meat and eggs. And the reason is that processed foods won't have a net thermogenic, aka fat burning effect on your body composition because it's already been processed. Your body doesn't have to expend the additional energy to process the foods. However, I still drink whey protein as a pre/during workout, air quotes, meal, because if you're as active as I am, you get very hungry. I don't like working out on a full stomach and more blood flows to your stomach to digest solid foods. So just to make it through some longer workouts and even treadmill runs up to an hour, I will still drink protein powder. So how much protein per day do you need to take to make progress in your muscle gain/fat loss goals? 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. That's lean body mass. So whatever percent body fat you are, the other number, like 87 or 85 or 80, multiply that by your weight in pounds. 1 gram per that number is a good starting point for most. But it will scale with experience. For example, I'm on 250 grams of protein. So you will adjust as you get more experience. The bottles that I'm using right now, and I've just put the whey protein in there so I can't show you how it disassembles, but these are BlendJet and they do disassemble, and it comes with a USB charging cable. But these bottles are nice and they're super easy to clean. So ultimately, don't agonize about plus or minus a few tenths of a gram per X amount of body weight, as long as you are meeting your caloric intake needs, eating a caloric surplus to gain muscle, eating in a caloric deficit to lose fat. I'm on Optimum Nutrition Whey Protein right now because this is generally the more affordable one. It varies between $43 and $47 at Costco, so less than 50 cents per scoop. Protein comes in concentrate, isolate, and hydrolyzed whey protein forms, and those are in ascending order of purity and absorption speed. So concentrate absorbs slower than isolate, isolate absorbs slower than hydrolyze, hydrolyze is more pure than isolate, isolate is more pure than concentrate. Did you get all that? I do feel it's worth the money to step up to a protein where the primary ingredient is isolate over concentrate, because at least for me, I feel concentrate is a little harder on my stomach. It doesn't come out the other side as easy, even though most proteins come with digestive enzyme additives. You also run the risk of protein farts if you eat a lot of concentrate. However, I do not think it's worth stepping up to hydrolyzed whey protein, even though it's marketed as the purest, fastest absorbing protein, because when you get your nutrients, doesn't matter nearly as much as total daily caloric intake and macronutrient composition. So yeah, don't worry about the few extra basis points in absorption speed. No best supplement video is complete without creatine. Specifically,
creatine monohydrate. I don't need to sell you on creatine or the research behind it because it is one of the most clinically studied supplements with validated effectiveness. It will make you big and improve your performance in the 8 to 12 repetition lifting range. Creatine assists your body in creating ATP, which, as you remember from high school biology, fuels muscle. Whether creatine is directly hypertrophic, aka causing muscle growth, is still debated in the scientific community, but the extra energy for muscles allows you to work them harder, and the extra output will trigger growth. However, even if it makes you big, will you look good? Creatine does have a reputation of causing water retention. In theory, you should still maintain a lean appearance provided you scale your water intake with creatine intake, as creatine water retention is largely intramuscular. But I personally do not take creatine as I dislike the feeling of the GI bloat effects. Plenty of forums have discussed minimizing the stomach bloat feel by scaling up water intake even more and avoiding a loading phase, but I still feel enough bloat to not make the creatine worth taking. X% of the population will flat out not respond to creatine supplementation or be able to overcome the side effects because of probably already elevated creatinine levels, and I feel I am one of those. There are other forms of creatine available, such as HCl or crealkin, but that's where the research gets murky, as most of the safety and efficaciousness research comes from studies on creatine monohydrate. But for most athletes, creatine monohydrate in 3-week cycles, taking 5 grams per day, is safe and effective for muscle growth. It's 2024, and regardless of what anyone tells you about a loading phase, it's absolutely not necessary. Forum randos have more expertise than YouTubers with millions of subscribers.
Imagine what the world would look like if the powers that be didn't take original Formula Jack, yes, the one with the meth precursor, away from us. Here's a video of me with original Formula Jack from 12 years ago. This stuff, jacked, I don't even want to open it. It's probably like really congealed, but you can get an idea of the age of this supplement. Oh my god, I'm not going to show you the inside of this just because it's so old. But since the powers that be decided we can't have nice things, here is the pre-workout, the only one I've taken since those 12 years that has replicated the feel of original Formula Jacked.
Again, pre-workouts aren't directly hypertrophic, but because their components allow for increased exertion during exercise more than a placebo, they are worth considering. The most common ingredients are creatine, beta-alanine, L-citrulline, and stimulants like caffeine. Creatine, we already talked about. This product doesn't have any because I don't use creatine. Beta-alanine acts as lactic acid buffer and allows you to push past where you would normally get fatigue in the higher rep ranges. The skin tingles you feel minutes after drinking pre-workout come from the beta-alanine. L-citrulline increases nitric oxide production in your body, which allows for more blood flow to your muscles, giving them the pumped sensation. Caffeine, we all get enough of in our day-to-day to not need an explanation of its effects. I use creatine-free euphoric Q, is that how you pronounce it? But I'm not going to butcher the pronunciation of their proprietary ingredients, but it's a caffeine byproduct instead of straight caffeine, using it as a stimulant. This is an interesting enough product that I feel it does what it advertises. It gives you all of the uppies from caffeine, but none of the downies. And of course, my experience is subjective. Please use as directed and consult a physician, please, if you have any sensitivity to pre-workout supplements. You can also buy a stimulant-free pre-workout. Any other additives you find in your pre-workout may not have the same research backing as creatine, beta-alanine, and L-citrulline, so be careful how you spend your money. This one has taurine, which is also an ingredient in Red Bull. It's used mostly for nootropic benefits. Niacin, if this one had it, I don't know what it would feel like taking beta-alanine and niacin together, but niacin from Red Bull also gives you a skin flush sensation. But the most commonly used and effective ingredients, beta-alanine, citrulline, caffeine, and creatine found in pre-workouts should cover all of your bases for what you need. I run a 3-week on, 3-week off cycle to minimize building up tolerance to pre-workouts. But anyways, that's all I have to say about pre-workouts. Multivitamins. I've ordered these animal packs way too many times. And you can see they've gone through different designs from the packaging over the years. This is the oldest, is more of a glossy paper. And now the paper is more matte. And this is the most recent one, which uses fewer pills. Animal packs are overpriced for what you get, and there may only be a few relevant ingredients supported by clinical research to be beneficial for athletic performance and overall health. Yes, there are amino acids, but not enough by themselves to be relevant for your daily macros or micronutrient intake. Research shows that normies do not need multivitamin supplementation to maintain general health, except for vitamin D. Even normies would benefit from vitamin D supplementation, especially in the low sunlight winter months, as it assists calcium absorption for bone strength. B vitamin supplementation also helps energy levels. There's way too many ingredients to talk about all of them in the associated research. Vitamin C helps prevent oxidative damage, and metals such as calcium, magnesium, and zinc have shown to benefit athletes more than normies. Supplementing with these may create subtle performance gains, but unless you train like Michael Phelps, you do tend to get enough from regular food. There's way too many ingredients to talk about all of them in the associated research, but out of the lot, vitamin D and B are generally accepted to have supplemental benefits beyond what you would normally get through your day-to-day food intake. Do you need to buy Animal Pack to get all the potentially beneficial vitamins, minerals, and amino acids? No. I take postnatal vitamins that we got for free from the OBGYN clinic. Now, if ZMA came with vitamin D, that would be the perfect multivitamin for bodybuilders. And now, here's a greens blend that I've shown in my previous video. This will not directly improve your weight training performance, but it adds benefits to overall health because why not? Vegetables are generally recognized as being good for you. And yes, I do believe eating vegetables will have a net thermogenic effect on your body as long as you don't slather them with oil, vinegar, or, Lord forbid, dressing. This is not a replacement for eating regular vegetables, and this is processed powder, but I drink this out of laziness. It has probiotics and fiber to improve digestion and make sure all of the other stuff I take comes out easier the other side. Please do as I say and not as I do. Eat your vegetables, just don't slather them with oil, vinegar, or dressing, as that would defeat the purpose. I do also take some fish oil for general health purposes, not so much for weightlifting. But this has also been shown in normies to have supplemental benefit, taking it in addition to eating a proper nutrition regimen. But in terms of everything else on the market, please save your money. There's way too many supplements that I don't take to talk about in depth. So that's all. So let's just round out with the conclusion.
And here's the video conclusion where I get absolutely roasted. Hey, David, you use a lot of big words, but you didn't link any articles. Well, that's because I respect my viewers' intelligence. In 2024, anyone can enter a single term into Google Scholar and come up with a publication that supports a point you're trying to make. That doesn't necessarily make the entire topic science-based. And if I say anything egregious enough, the comments section will normally point it out. And it sucks that in 2024, the comments section on most videos and forums is more air quotes based than YouTubers trying to sell you anything and everything. They would even sell life insurance to their grandmothers. Anyways, this is just an example of what I do. You may find individual success doing more or less. For example, I don't use creatine because I can't overcome the negative GI, gastrointestinal effects. And I'm probably a non-responder. You won't be able to believe how much I got this for. Would I pay full price for it? Probably not, because there's many more affordable options on the market. But anyways, thank you for watching this video all the way through. If you have suggestions for future content you would like to see, please post in the comments. I am taking viewer requests. My name is David, and I will see you next